Oh, it was so touching, this moment in the East Room of the White House yesterday. President Trump signing that executive order banning biological men from women's sports. And there were young female athletes on all sides.
You know, if you'd like to gather around me, I think I'm going to be okay. Come on. Come on. Secret Service is worried about them. If we have to worry about them, we have big problems. Okay, do you want to have a tune? Do you want to do this? Watch what I do, then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? You ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature. Because this is, you know, this is a big one, right? Sit down, please. Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10. Pretty good, huh? Okay? Now you're going to go out and win those events, right? Nice to see you all.
So you get this new law and a presidential pep talk. Go win.
That moment was incredible. And I just want to underscore that the sweet young age of all of those girls, that's the age that currently there are state protections in place from places like California that at that age making decisions to biologically butcher themselves permanently. And you look at those sweet young girls whose futures will now be protected thanks to this president, their scholarships preserved, their options preserved open because they won't be invaded by biological males. And when we talk about representing the people, the New York Times, the liberal New York Times, conducted a poll where 79% of the recipients said that they are not in favor of biological males in women's sports, 67% of whom identified as Democrats. To your point earlier, when do that amount of people agree on anything?
Exactly
and that right there is the manifestation of that agreement. That is representing the mandate of the American people put forth on November 5th.
So right before this happened in the East Room of the White House, Senator Tommy Tuberville of the great state of Alabama was on the Senate floor, and he was fighting for the bill that would make this permanent because he says in 2 years, when, you know, those midterm elections happen, or if in 4 years you have a Democrat president, they will easily flip this back, and he's trying to indemnify this against that.
As well he should, as well as Congress should, for sure. And watching that press conference, it was really heartwarming. It's astonishing to me that we got to the point that we did on this issue. Thinking back on it, why mothers across the country didn't rush D.C. and try to change it. The fact that this happened, the president has now put in place probably the most important decision for young women that will happen in years.
You know, it's so interesting, too, because we thought that about Title IX, and this was dismantling Title IX.
Right.
Martina Navratilova, tennis legend, posted this on her X. I hate that Democrats totally failed women and girls on this very clear issue of women's sports being for females only. Kennedy.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, this is really divided feminists. And there were traditional feminists who have been outraged, and they have been tarred as bigots now because they're trying to stand up for basic women's rights, something that they have fought for their entire lives. You know, Martina Navratilova, when she started playing tennis, there was not equality. There was not funding, and they had to fight so hard for that. And now...
What happened, Kennedy?
Young women, the world has gotten turned on its head, and all the virtue signalers went along with it because they didn't want to be on the wrong side of groupthink, but the group lost its mind. And, you know, shame on the states and the mayors and the governing bodies and all the various sports that didn't stand up for this in the first place and do what was right for the sake of young women everywhere.
But the people who did stand up, people like we've been talking about, and of course we have Riley Gaines on. J.K. Rowling is another one who stood up. She had an ex post. Congratulations to every single person on the left who's been campaigning to destroy women's and girls' rights. Without you, there'd be no images like the one we're looking at on the television right now. I mean, the bottom line is that those people who stood up changed the 50-50 position that most Americans had on the issue to the 79% who now favor what President Trump just did. Those people deserve gold medals because they stood up against the crowd. They lost a lot of friends. They lost a lot of relatives who don't speak to them anymore. But they continue to stand their ground, and they proved to be right. And the American people are following them.
And speaking of gold medal, when we host the Olympics in Los Angeles, President Trump addressed that and was like, this law is going to apply then, too. Take note, guys.